Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Headline Hits on the LWN Network. I'm Tammy Nation, your host of the show, Monday through Thursday, noon Eastern Standard Time. I hope everybody's had a great week so far. This is the last Headline Hits of the week, so thanks again for joining me. Those of you who join now or those who join later, I really do appreciate it. We do here at the network as well. A couple of things I want to bring up is it's good news. I think we're going to have a lot of fun tonight because at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing a show here on the LWN Network. It is going to be myself, LW, and Jeff B. We're going to cover some things that have been popping and hopping in the news in greater detail and see what kind of inside information Jeff B has that he can share with us as well. So we always look forward to that great conversation, that relaxed atmosphere, and being able to, share opinions, share views, and have great conversations with you guys on shows like that. So I am really looking forward to that. We will put a thumbnail out to remind you guys that we will be doing the show at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be on all the channels like we are now this morning, YouTube, Rumble, and also X. So we do have the links that the wonderful mods keep dropping in our chat, so you're able to find it, save it, and join us when we go live tonight. So we also have some other updates as far as obviously the news. It's been an ongoing cycle that basically switches up moment to moment. And this morning, a couple of the stories that I have changed already. So we like to provide last minute up-to-date information because it does change so quickly from the night before to the next morning, even from the morning to later on in that afternoon. So we try to stay on top of it as best we can so you guys have the most accurate information, the latest information. So we're going to go ahead and get into headline hits right after this brief little video, and I'll be right back with you guys. So first up, we have this morning, Trump says, I think that we have a deal in regards to Russia and Ukraine. We know that's been an ever-swinging pendulum left to right, up and down and sideways. But Trump did report yesterday evening stating that I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky, but so far it's been harder. But that's okay. It's all right. Zelensky, remember, sabotaged the peace negotiations with President Trump in February by disrespecting him in the Oval Office and reneging on a pre-agreed upon peace deal. Ukraine had previously approved Trump's requested mineral rights deal with the U.S. to compensate America for the hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer money that Joe Biden gave them over the last 4 years. But the agreement was not formalized during Zelensky's visit to the White House nearly 2 months ago. President Trump slammed Zelensky in a call for peace just hours earlier in response to Zelensky's demands for the territory of Crimea on Tuesday. So Zelensky declared the Ukraine will not recognize Russia's occupation of Crimea, a statement that President Trump slammed as very harmful to peace negotiations with Russia, in that Crimea was lost years ago under President Barack Hussein Obama. However, breaking this morning, it has come out that Russia has pounded Kiev with missiles and drones overnight, killing at least 8 people, wounding more than 70, and smashing buildings in the biggest attack on the Ukraine capital of this year. The attacks are causing fires in the buildings. 6 children were among the wounded, with some people still trapped under the rubble. And as a result, Zelensky will probably cut his trips to South Africa short because he just landed there. President Trump also released a statement saying, I'm not happy with the Russian strikes on Kiev. Not necessary. Very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 500 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get this peace deal done. So President Trump was asked by a reporter Wednesday evening if he could meet with Zelensky at the Vatican this weekend while he was attending the Pope's funeral. He did not say whether he would be meeting with Zelensky, but stated, I think we have a deal with Russia. We've got to get a deal with Zelensky. The president then said, I think we have a deal with both, making it unclear whether or not Zelensky decided to come to the negotiation table. So Trump said, I don't know if he's going to the funeral or not, referring to Zelensky, but I hope he gets this thing solved because we're losing all these soldiers every week. Think about that. How many people are being lost? The 5,000 soldiers, let alone the civilians and everybody else affected by this continuing war. So he says that these are not Americans, but they're Russian and good people. And they are humans, these soldiers and these people that are civilians being harmed. He said they have families. They wave goodbye to their son, and then they get a call that their son is no longer there. President Trump has always stated and continues to state it is a vicious war. And if I can help solve it, we're not going to lose our soldiers, but we are losing soldiers and a lot of people. And if it can be solved because of certain ability, that would be great. So he's having empathy, even though it's not our soldiers there, it's soldiers, it is people, it is human beings that are being lost in this senseless war. So he said, if it doesn't happen, I think I will say that I think Russia is ready. A lot of people said Russia wanted to go for the whole thing. And I do think we have the deal with Russia. We have to get the deal with Zelensky. So I don't know how that deal is going to be affected or what is going to happen. It's a developing story after the issues that happened this morning with these strikes. So we'll have to continue to follow it and see what the latest breaking news is going to be. Because like I said, between yesterday and today, it's already changed. Up next, we have Judge. This is getting nasty with judges. As you well know, we've been reporting here on the LWN network, and it continues each and every day. This time it's Judge Howell, who we spoke about yesterday, who is blocking Trump. Now, the judge criticized DOJ lawyers and signaled that she may permanently block President Trump from taking action against Perkins Coie, speaking out yesterday. Last month, President Trump stripped security clearances of the employees at the DNC law firm Perkins Coie. Remember, Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid the law firm Perkins Coie more than $1 million to hire Oppo Research from Fusion GPS to peddle the bogus Trump Russia dossier that was during the 2016 election. Former British spy Christopher Steele complied over a dozen memos alleging that the Russians had blackmail on Trump and that his associates were conspiring with the Kremlin to win the 2016 election. These memos were made into a largely debunked dossier that was eventually published by BuzzFeed on January 10th of 2017. Perkins Coie and Hillary Clinton were behind that hoax. Judge Beryl Howe blocked part of President Trump's executive order bringing employees from DNC law firm Perkins Coie from entering buildings, the federal buildings. Beryl Howe granted Perkins Coie request for a TRO for part of Trump's executive order and said the president violated the law firm's due process. We've heard a lot about due process when it comes to illegals and these people from Perkins Coie, but we don't hear that about the American citizens. During a hearing on Wednesday, Beryl Howe accused DOJ lawyers of acting like 3-year-olds who throw temper tantrums. The judge compared Trump's executive action against Perkins Coie and other law firms to the Red Scare. So that's the new title that she has for Trump and his administration and the things they're trying to do. They're calling it a Red Scare. The Trump DOJ previously moved to disqualify corrupt Judge Howell from the Perkins Coie case for repeatedly demonstrating partiality against and animus towards the president. It is in a motion to disqualify the judge. The Trump DOJ included recent video of Beryl Howe going on a crazy tirade against Trump. And late last month, Beryl Howe rejected the Trump DOJ's motion to disqualify her from the Perkins Coie case. So she rejected the Trump's DOJ motion to disqualify her. She's not giving up without a fight, like they all are not giving up. Another judge note here, Judge Joel Cano has resigned from the bench where he has sat since 2011. You may ask why. Well, he resigned because a suspected gang member of Tren de Aragua, you know, these gang members, was arrested. Guess where he was arrested? In the judge's home. Judge Cano is now under investigation. Judge Kavanaugh is Judge Cano is a former police officer and Democrat. He ran unopposed in 3 subsequent elections, winning the 4th term in 2022. Although his resignation letter did not state his reason for stepping down, the letter followed shortly after a man awaiting deportation proceedings was arrested at Cano's home. The man is accused by federal law enforcement of being affiliated with a Venezuelan gang. His name is Christian Lopez, and he faces federal firearms charges after Homeland Security investigations executed a search warrant on February 28th at a Las Cruces residence that was owned by Kano and his wife Nancy. And also, New Mexico Federal District Court prosecutors argue that Lopez is a flight risk and a danger to the community due to an alleged criminal history. He was taken into custody along with other individuals described as roommates in court filings on March 3rd. Now, he appeared before the U.S. Magistrate Judge Damian Martinez on charges of being unlawfully alien in possession of a firearm and ammunition. The charge carries a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison. So this is not hearsay. This is not opinion. This is a criminal that was caught in a judge's home, and now the judge has resigned. So we've got a lot of keeping up to do with these judges. It just never ceases to amaze me. Next up, we have things are heating up also with the DOJ. In an unprecedented move, the Justice Department has announced that they indicted a leader of the violent Tren de Aragua gang, and he will face terrorism and international drug distribution charges. This is the first time the DOJ has brought terrorism charges against a member of a newly designated foreign terrorist organization. FBI Director Kash Patel called the first of its kind indictment on terrorism charges a critical step in dismantling their network and holding its members accountable. President Trump signed an executive order on Inauguration Day, if you remember this, designating violent groups and drug cartels such as MS-13, TDA, the Sinaloa Cartel, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, all as foreign terrorist organizations and specifically designated global terrorists. This comes as the Trump administration faces legal battles from far-left judges blocking the deportation of TDA terrorists under the Alien Enemies Act. Fox News obtained a 5-count superseding indictment against Jose Martinez Flores, a reported high-ranking member of TDA. He is charged with conspiring to provide and providing material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization, conspiracy, and cocaine distribution. Flores was arrested by Colombian authorities last month at the United States request. So there is a lot going on here with the judges. We see how that it's affecting decisions and trying to stranglehold the arms of our law and holding these people accountable. It's amazing how many things are happening with these judges each and every day. Next up, we have the heat is on leakers also. Tulsi Gabbard criminally refers 2 intel officials to DOJ for prosecution over leaks at WAPO, New York Times on Wednesday. ODNI Tulsi Gabbard criminally referred 2 intel officials to the Justice Department for leaking to the New York Times and the Washington Post. And a 3rd criminal referral, she says, is on its way. They are aggressively investigating other leaks. Tulsi came out and warned those committing leaks they will be hunted down and prosecuted. They are putting our country at risk and security risks. The Trump administration is not putting up with leakers this time around. Last month, DHS Chief Kristi Noem said her investigators have identified 2 leakers within the Department of Homeland Security and are preparing to refer them to the Justice Department for felony prosecutions. These individuals face up to 10 years in federal prison, Noem said. And last week, 3 Pentagon officials who were caught leaking to the media were also fired. So a lot is going on inside our government and all arms and extensions and branches of the government. There's a long, tough battle ahead of us. There's still deep seed planted people that are in there causing the continuation of controversial things and items going on, a lot of corruption, a lot of wrong things against this country and the people. And you look at it each and every day, these stories that come out, and it is very disheartening. It's a lot for this Trump administration to battle, but we have no choice but to battle it and try to solve all these issues we have going on. The rats keep coming out, being found out, shining the light on them. And speaking of that, the O'Keefe Media Group yesterday released undercover video of a Defense Department branch chief attacking President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Nicholas Terza, a Department of Defense branch chief, called President Trump illegitimate and vowed to resist him in everything he does. This is a Department of Defense branch chief that we're talking about here. Terza also attacked Hegseth and said the 44-year-old is insanely young and too unfit to lead. The same guy who tried to overthrow an election is just like truly settling us down a path of dictatorship, is what he said about Trump, saying he's illegitimate. He said he's terribly immoral, breaking every norm. We're going to resist him, everything he does, Terza said about Trump. I'm a very patriotic person, and I've never been less patriotic, he said to the OMG journalist. Terza then attacked Pete Hegseth. Ultimately, Hegseth is my boss, but this is insane. I actually know Pete, and this is so crazy. This is not a good reflection on me. This is a bad reflection on Trump. Like nobody I know should be the Secretary of Defense, Terza said about Hegseth. He continued, like he's too young to be the part. And he wasn't that high up in the military. He used to be in the D.C. National Guard. When asked about his opinion about Trump, Terza said, the worst thing about him is his utter lack of moral principle. The second worst thing about him is how stupid he could be. Well, I'm going to disagree with that. I think that President Trump is very intelligent. James O'Keefe said Hegseth has never heard of Nicholas Terza. This is what is going on in our government, you guys. It is full of infestation of traitors, corruption, hate. It's crazy that we've been able to stay afloat as a country with all this backstabbing and chaos that is being exposed. Imagine what was going on, as we are seeing, when we didn't know or we didn't have this administration to infiltrate them, weed them out, shine the light, and get them out. A lot of the attacks have been coming out on Hegseth due to the 2 signal leaks that we talked about. And 4 people under his leadership have been shipped out of the Pentagon due to being accused and are caught leaking. A few of them have come out to the media to try and defend themselves and throw Pete under the bus. They are not agreeing with him. They're saying that they are innocent. However, Pete has come back swinging, saying, yes, there were leaks. Yes, we are getting to the bottom of the leaks. However, the left and others are trying to take him out for shining the light on the corruption and the shady dealings going on in his department and throughout government. Some are calling for his resignation even. Yet Pete is standing strong in his position of taking down the bad ones, and he said he expected some of this backlash as he did so. President Trump recently was asked, I think it was during the Easter egg roll at the White House, about Pete and these signal issues, and the president said, find me something new to talk about, that Pete is doing an absolutely fantastic job. Next up, we have Hunter. So, Hunter. We can't get enough of Hunter. We want him in jail is what we want. Newly unredacted IRS and FBI search warrants tied to the federal investigation into Hunter Biden provide new details on the information that investigators had in their possession about President Joe Biden's son business deals linked to Ukraine, China, and elsewhere. The multiple search warrant applications were released with only some redactions remaining late Tuesday, following an agreement between Hunter Biden's legal team and the Justice Department. The search warrants detail the knowledge that federal investigators had years ago related to lucrative payments Hunter Biden had received from Ukrainian gas giant Barisma, since defunct Chinese energy conglomerate CEFC, Romanian businessmen, and more. Sometimes including when Joe Biden was still vice president. So, yep, we talked about this. We knew this, but we were called conspiracy. We called it was hearsay. No, it was being suppressed. The government has conferred with subject matter experts within the Department of Justice and counsel for Mr. Biden. The parties agree the search warrant applications and affidavits at issue may be unsealed with limited redactions. Shannon Hansen, the U.S. acting attorney for Delaware, said in a Tuesday court filing. She added that the government proposes and counsel for Mr. Biden does not object to limited redactions to protect specific privacy and grand jury secrecy interests. The two IRS whistleblowers who shed light on what they considered failures to properly investigate Hunter Biden and who were allegedly retaliated against as a result received promotions from the Trump administration in March. IRS Supervisory Special Agent Gary Shapley and IRS Special Agent Joseph Ziegler are now serving as senior advisors to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Shapley was also reportedly selected to be the acting IRS commissioner last week prior to him reporting being replaced in that role shortly thereafter. The whistleblowers were harshly critical of then special counsel David Weiss's handling of the Hunter Biden investigation, arguing that he had slow-walked the case. Shapley also told congressional investigators in 2023 that Hansen was a key part of Weiss's team and that she was present at a key meeting where Weiss said he was limited in his criminal charges authority. Ziegler himself filed the August 2019 search warrant application for Hunter Biden's Apple accounts, the new documents reveal. The application was filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Delaware and was approved by a judge. So you can go to Just the News and you can see the complete breakdown. It's very fascinating. It's a long read, but it's an interesting, detailed read. Just the News has it. It's the breakdown of the money, the deals, the dates. They have the financial records of the GOP report as well, and all the articles and documentation on their site for you to see. So when people say it's conspiracy and people say, oh, you just don't like the Bidens and you just want to be for Trump. Now we are this is the slow process that we've been dealing with. We've been wanting this. Now the papers are coming out, the documentation, it's being released through the Trump administration. So we are seeing in grave detail about the atrocities that were suppressed, that were hidden, the wheelings and dealings that have gone on between these people. It is no longer conspiracy. So on a final note here, a lot of people are saying, I don't want to hear talk. I want to see arrest. I want justice. We all do. But there is a process to follow. As they are unveiling and unraveling all of this information, we are seeing it, and then they have the process to follow. We can't just go arresting people without proving them guilty first, even though there's paperwork and documentation that says that. This is how our country works. One of Trump's advisors went on Fox News, I think it was, and said, listen, I understand that people want justice. We want justice as well. But just because, and even Dan Bongino came out and said this, just because you don't see it and everything's not broadcast, we are releasing what we can. There are things that are continually going on behind the scenes to make sure we don't let people slip through loopholes, that when we charge them and we bring the cases against them, that they pay the price for what they have done. We have waited so many years for this to even be in action because we know that our own government from the last administration was hiding so many things. As we are seeing all these documentations and papers released, as we are seeing these judges in the actions that they are taking, we now understand why. It has been a long road and there's so much fighting to do, and how much suppression the Biden administration did, why he pardoned a lot of these people that he pardoned. We were asking, why is he pardoning people from 2014? Why is he putting a pardon in, a full, complete presidential pardon in for people that haven't been charged with anything? So we are seeing the shenanigans that have gone on and are going on. So just have patience, and we will see. I believe justice is coming. In the advisor, I forget what his name was, that was on Fox. He said justice is coming. And there was also a representative that went on Steve Bannon's War Room and went head to head with Steve Bannon saying, listen, we will bring justice. Justice will be served. So I know that it seems like talk, but we are seeing paperwork action. And to me, that's a progression of a step forward and not a step backward, and not remaining quiet on these issues. So that's what I have for you this week for Headline Hits. That's a wrap for the week with Headline Hits. But if you didn't catch it at the beginning of the show, I will be back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the LWN network. LW is going to host the show 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the one and only Jeff B is going to join the show from what I hear as well. We're just going to kind of hit a bunch of topics and kind of get the update of what is going on a little deeper, because we know by 9 tonight there's going to be plenty more to talk about. So I hope you guys can join us. We will put a thumbnail out to remind you guys. And in the meantime, as far as headline hits, I will join you guys and see you Monday for the next one. And those of you who can join us tonight, I'll see you tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care. God bless. Talk to you soon.